All right, we are live. Welcome to Scalar Workshop 2.0. In this workshop, I'll be going over how to get your scalars if you are truly interested towards the end. And we'll dive into Scalar itself. So I think it's about time. I think this was a long time coming since we have new scalars, so much updates, and the technology only gets better and better. And the type of people that I get on the phone with that has been privy to this technology for over several years and have seen miraculous stuff even before I was born using technologies like this. So, you know, when you're speaking to those people specifically, you know, you get into deep conversations saying, you know, the type of technologies that we're dealing with, why, you know, I get into deep conversations with them because I know where they're coming from. And they're like, hey, that Tesla car that only goes 30 miles should be going 500 miles, you know, like dumbed down technology that they do for a reason. It's a joke. And the basis of the conversation is like, we should be in the Jetsons by now at this point, right? And these are people who have seen people many of you may have come in contact with just for the first time. They've been looking at them for years before all of this social media came about. So yeah, this is about the Scalar Workshop, getting your own. I'll go into little details about Scalar itself. So we started about I think we started about several months ago. It's almost a year now, right, huh? I think it's like about almost 10 months. 10 months since we started the Scalar Wave. And we started with the Breath Family Members Group. And what we did, we started with everyone would send a picture of their family members or themselves. And we would literally put a biogeometric blueprint over it. And we even made our own and amplified it even more. We double plated it and also add some other blueprints that was in sacred harmony of the body in that geometric resonance. And what we did, we took their pictures and literally placed it on the scalar. And the scalar was producing, it opens a gateway, so to speak, to even more, keyword more, scalar energy. And no matter where you are in the world, and we're still providing this service for now, at least, no matter where you are in the world, you're still feeling all those healing frequencies depending on what you're working on. So we started basic with like 60 frequencies, and now it's, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but there's literally generating over thousands of frequencies, going to the millions range the whole day, back and forth. So that's what we're doing. And recently, it's been about 3 months now since I've been giving people access to scalars, getting their own scalar by themselves, setting up tutorials of how to get your own scalar, and giving them just access to utilize this technology in their own home. This technology, you'll notice EMF radiation go down. That's one. But scalar, it's deep penetration into the body, and this is why I love bringing it into sound baths. And now it's going into doctors' offices. There's a chiropractor right now as we speak, has one right in his office, and I helped set it up. And there's so many other practitioners out there that's finally utilizing it as well. And then we took it up another notch, and I started doing scalar sessions, specific scalar sessions. And I did this in the background behind closed doors with a type 1 diabetic. And this type 1 diabetic worked on Wall Street, and he didn't have time to sit down and do the scalar session. So what we did was I recorded the actual scalar on the video, and it ranged about 2 hours long. So while he was at work, we placed the video next to his water. and it's literally generating the scalar field right through the screen in terms of the electromagnetic harmony. You know, there's actually devices out there where you can actually test different frequencies, and they did this numerous of times. I think forgot his name already, but even on here they even did it, where this guy was playing a specific frequency through the phone, and on the other end he was actually reading, oh, are you playing 528 hertz right now? He's like, yes. And this was a phone call, by the way. This is actual just phone call. And it read it. It read it just like that. That was like the basis of it. Now, let's even go to HD TVs in general. And now we're in the age where we have mobile HD TVs, so to speak. Yes, you can generate scalar field through the phone. And that's what I started doing with the type 1 diabetic. So he would do the breathing practices while he's at work, and then when he would come home, he'd start drinking. So within 2 weeks, insulin levels started to harmonize, where he would have to use less of the jibby jabby in his body. And it was such a relief and such an emotional moments around that time when he finally realized, like, oh snap, this thing is actually working. And we worked up. After that whole month, we took about 2 weeks, and 2 weeks into the next month, we went on his first 2-week water fast, even while he was working. It got to the point where he saw so much benefits at his desk. He would work at an office building across from Wall Street. So at his desk, when he would finally get to sit down, he would have the video screen in the background. He would have the scalar video playing in the background while he's at work. And he's like, man, I've never felt so much peace in this hectic place at all my 20 years working on Wall Street. So that goes to show you the power of utilizing scalar. It's wild. And it's what scalar is. It's 0 point. There's no point A to point B. It's instantaneous. So on top of him playing the video, we actually had his picture on the scalar as well while I was recording. Okay? And that amplified it even more. So anytime he would play the video, if we're thinking quantum at an aspect, technically he's turning on that in that point in time, so to speak, directly right at him, because there is no point A to point B. It's instantaneous. Think with me here. Grow with me here. And if you guys are just now learning about this, go do some research on Dr. Rife. Yes, there was in the 1950s. This man was he was alleviating, eradicating cancer, so to speak, with frequencies. Now we're at the age where we're now privy to this technology. I was really on the phone with this person that's been privy to this technology way before I was even born. And he said, you know, we're at this beautiful age, and it's sad at the same time. You could hear it in his voice. It's sad because all these people, you know, back then, if I were talking about this, they'd call me a crackpot, crazy, so to speak, and even my life will technically, quote unquote, be in danger, so to speak. And he's seen a lot of things in that manner, and in terms of the men in black, quote unquote, knocking on your door, that type of thing. And he just loves the way I'm presenting it, and it definitely comes from the heart in this sense. So there's so many different ways of utilizing the scalar itself. If you get your own physical scalar, you can start to use family members. You can even get a piece of their fingernail if you want, put it on the scalar. That's their DNA. It's their signature, so to speak. And you can implement specific frequencies directing right to them. Shoot, you can even just have it on and not even tell your family, and boom, you'll see dramatic shifts within, give it 2 weeks. And if anyone on here that is or ever been on the scalar themselves, you're more than welcome to hop on and give a testimony, so to speak. or if you have a scalar that I have sent to you, or the older version of the scalar, which is still pretty powerful. There was one lady in particular who had nerve damage in her body after a car crash, and when she got it, she can only handle like 5 minutes of it. She's like, I finally understand what it means to be satiated in terms of frequency as food, so to speak. I finally get that. I'm like, oh, it's very peculiar you said that. See, opening ourselves to these type of technologies gives people more awareness and the possibilities, so to speak. And it honors the fact that we live on a planet that is infested, so to speak, with cell towers and stuff like that. No matter how far off grid you live, you're still going to get those waves of energy, no matter how far off grid you live. And honestly, if we lived in a more scalar, harmonious field, where, you know, to that point, we won't even need scalar in itself. But even back then, when technically the pyramids, so the pyramids itself, pyramids produce raw scalar to a certain degree. So imagine when the pyramids were active back then, what do you think it was doing? Not only to the water, but let's talk about a scalar field at that point. Shoot, you're using the Earth's resonance, Mother Earth, and boom, blasting it with the limestone and all those harmonious stones with Mother Earth, and using certain frequencies and certain measurements. There's a reason why the pyramids are measured the way they are. That can't be a coincidence. The speed of light, hello? Now we're talking scalar, but what's even more faster than light and sound? Scalar. And apparently there's something even more powerful than scalar, and that's going to be a long-term project that I might not talk in public. But in general, the human body produces scalar from our aura to our thoughts and down to our breath. I truly trust, I don't believe, I know for a fact, our breath in itself is scalar. The fact that you take an exhale, it travels all around the world, comes right back to you. It's magnetic, yes. So that's also fits under the sphere of scalar in itself. The magnetic aspect, the magnetic ideology, the magnetic perception, that is where scalar is. And I want to show you guys one of Tesla's patent. I don't know. Ooh, oh, I can do that. All right, cool. So can't be a coincidence that one of Tesla's patent is literally in a crop field that, you know, you can speculate who be making these crop fields, so to speak, but that can't be a coincidence. Look at them, side by side. Some people say this man was not from this earth. And it's not just this man. There were so many people before Tesla, all the way to John Kelly, that Tesla got some inspiration from too. I truly, if you really study Tesla's work, in my opinion, I feel that Tesla took all the ancient knowledge and down to the Tesla coil. The Tesla coil is literally a lingam. It's a lingam. If you don't know what a lingam is, you go to India and you look, and there's still an active lingam, actually. It's so active that when you go there, and this is how you know, they were definitely using ancient technology, or how you want to describe that. The lingam, when you go there, the heat, it's not even heat. People think it's heat. People out down there blowing the fan on it, trying to keep it cool. You think it's heat. That's not just heat. That is literally pranic. That's a pranic essence. That's a pranic void of energy that's being beamed up from the lingam. And that's where Tesla got one of the ideas to create the Tesla coil. If you look up, if you go to that same exact spot, and you look up, and you look literally up on the scriptures in the walls, you'll see them dancing above the lingam, and you see how the lingam is literally a Tesla coil, and it has the sparks all over it, and they're dancing around it. Yeah, they're dancing with the energy, you could say, so to speak. And so many great sages and yogis, so to speak, go to that exact same spot. What's his name? I think Mark is even, yeah, Mr. Facebook apparently went there as well and got ideas from that space, and that's what got him to meet Yogi. I forgot the other guy's name, but yeah, it was part of the journey, so to speak. A lot of great minds have been to that space as well. I truly trust even Tesla himself has been to that space. But that lingam is still active. You can still go there today. And you can just sit and be still, and you feel it. You feel it. I have a feeling that for me personally, I think Egypt is going to be something like that for me, because I feel like it's pulling me over there without me even honestly wanting to go. I personally really honestly wanted to wait 2027 to go when the eclipse is really right above the pyramids. That's my ideal time of going. But getting back to the scalar, I'm going to show you guys his patent here. If you take a look at this, and then I'm going to play the video. So Tesla used this electromagnetic sphere in a sense. Yeah, lingam, Lingam, lingam. Yeah, so Tesla used this electromagnetic sphere in terms of radionics, and the scalar in itself, if you guys seen this previous Scalar Workshop, you know that we were using a copper plate, which we no longer need to, because the scalar itself is embedded with composite material and copper in itself. Now, maybe you can hear it from here. I don't know if you can hear that high pitch. That's not a speaker. It's literally copper material. So the video I'm about to play, you can actually hear the subliminal breathwork music as well. So with scalar, a lot of people also have to be, you have to be very practical and know what you're doing with it. And there's a reason why I imprint the breathwork subliminals, because the modern way of how scalar was produced or reproduced in a sense was through MK Ultra, where MK Ultra, if you really study it, you know, you don't want to use scalar, and this is why I don't just push out, hey, buy a scalar, buy a scalar. I want specific people, and that's why it's not even a product on my page. You're going to have to follow specific instructions all the way to the end of this video. So if you're truly interested and deep down in your heart and you feel what scalar can do for your life or the people around you or your whole family, you'd be surprised. And I want to just keep it for those people. And if you have seen the Scalar Workshop previously, you'll know why. And all those testimonials of people giving their heartfelt experiences with it tells you why I did it that way and why I would honestly still do it that way. If anyone on here has been on the scalar or have their own scalar, you're more than welcome to hop on here right now if you want and give a little testimonial. You're more than welcome. It might be different in a live setting, but hey, you're more than welcome. So what you're about to hear is literally just like all those patterns, like you saw with Tesla's patent, right? And then in the middle, there's two pyramids going just like that. And some of you already know what that means. That represents the 0 point energy sphere in that sense, that 0 point mark, right? And that's what scalar is. It's 0 point. But when you implement Tesla's patent in there to create that harmonic balance, when you're not, it's not just frequencies. No. Scalar, you can say it's not even a wave. A lot of people like to say scalar wave, but honestly, it's an impulse. Why is impulse? Well, look at your heart. Your heart technically isn't, your heart is not just electromagnetic, and there's a reason why your heart is not just electromagnetic. It is also scalar. It harmonizes when it creates that boom, that pulse, and it pulsates in that electric sphere that is surrounded by the body, the Merkaba or whatever. That in itself harmonizes with your aura. Again, your aura technically is scalar, right? Okay, follow me here. So when it's being pumped into the scalar, the subliminal breathwork music. Oh, sorry, I need to backtrack to MK Ultra. So during MK Ultra, during MK Ultra, a lot of people didn't realize, and maybe you might have read this in the Philadelphia experiments too, but a lot of things were manifesting at a faster all-time rate. Now, for some people, that could be bad, because some people have different pace of their lifestyles and manifestations, right? So in those MK Ultra experiments, when they were manifesting, they were also manifesting harmful things as well in a faster rate, because a lot of people aren't aware of their thoughts or take responsibility of their thoughts and thought patterns. So this is one of the main reasons why if you get a scalar, there's a reason why I have a whole library of the breathwork subliminals on there for you to play in them. So what's more harmonizing, what's more pure as well than the breath? What gets more pure than that? Obviously the soul, but hey, the breath is also scalar, the breath is harmonious, and every single aspect of the breathwork subliminals have been in a scalar environment and made with pure intentions with people from the breath family as well. When we go on Zoom calls, we record the sounds of our breath as well all together, and even down to the COVID oh shit, I said the word. Anyway, all the way down to the COVID subliminals when everyone was fasting. I was like, hey, this is going to be powerful. Because, hey, when you're listening to that, the body doesn't know the difference. So when you're listening to a lot of people fasted in that environment, such a powerful wave. And there's a reason. Go on YouTube right now. Go to COVID Subliminal Breathwork Music. Look at all those comments. Those comments speak for themselves. And it's just an honor to just be able to have a platform like this and share this in this manner. It's truly an honor, because speaking with that guy for over 2 hours before this was like, man, he's like, yeah, it was bad back then. It was that bad. It was so bad that as soon as you say a word like that, in a day or two, someone is like knocking on your door. You're either bought out, your life is in danger in a sense, or the other thing. So this is why I do it in this manner too, because I'm also not afraid. I don't live in fear. I could have done this in the Zoom platform like I did before and then made it public again, but I was like, hey, why not have heart to heart, do this right now and pump it out as much as I can to a certain point. I'm not going to be pumping out scalars forever. Let's be real here. Just like the old scalars. I honestly thought, because my partner John, he's moving to Mount Shasta. So I was like, okay, if you're moving, I have to make the scales myself. And everything I learned from you and everything I've learned in the past, how do I build something even more powerful? And I did it. And shoot, hey, pressure makes diamonds, right? Because I told many of you that January technically was going to be the last time in a while that I'd ever have scalars. But here I am making my own scales. And the new scalars, if you saw the previous workshop, it had the tablet, and this one doesn't. And there's a reason why. I'm going to play it. So here we have 7 chakras. Even erasing negative thoughts. Look how much that takes, the amount of minutes it does the sweeping. It literally where comes do we begin? Even with a whole database. This database, you can literally make, where it says loaded, you can literally load up as many as you want, and it will run continuously the whole day. Give that a moment. Yeah, we have all that in here. All that. Yeah. Yep. That's even in here. We even have graphene. You can even type in
graphene here.
Graphene. Oops.
Graphene, my bad.
Oh, okay, I corrected myself.
But yeah, you can literally make up your own programs, and it'll definitely run. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's parasites in here as well. Well, I think everyone got it at this point, huh? Hopefully I don't get S-banned again.
Graphene.
Because I made a reel about this and
whole bunch.
Yeah, it didn't end. It didn't end well.
Whole bunch.
Kidney. Oh yeah, there's a parasites. You'd be surprised. I gotta tell you guys a story about that with scalar versus parasites and this known doctor. I don't know if I'm not gonna say her name, but this well-known holistic doctor.
Where is it? So, what I did to start off. Put that in. That's even in here as well. You can get really specific, and the whole database is here. It always also gets updated. If you choose to connect it to the Wi-Fi, I don't. Unless you're doing an update, don't do that. So, yeah, you don't have to run it with Wi-Fi whatsoever. This runs completely off of Wi-Fi. You can have the Wi-Fi off so it doesn't, give off that EMF radiation, and you get the full benefits out of it. It goes so deep, so deep. It's that thick, and that's what you're also getting out of this whole package as well. Yeah. So here.
All right, so you can get really specific, and one of the main things that pushed me to share this even more is to embrace reality in a sense. So I put my Sifu, who lives out in the remote places of China, onto the scalar, and he could do more things. This was starting out with a picture, and then I gave him an actual scalar for himself, turned it on in the middle of the mountains, and I showed him how. And when you guys purchase a scalar, I'll show you how to turn it on in remote places as well. It's a total different ball game. And in April, I'll have another opportunity to do that after the retreat we have here in Miami. I'll have another opportunity to do that up north Florida very soon for a festival. So whoever is going to that festival, I don't have too much details on it. I just got invited to do 3 hours of the alchemy and sound breathwork there. But man, it's a beautiful experience. So when he turned it on in the middle of nowhere, he can start hearing a high pitch, and he could feel more of the mountains. And this is someone who can create fire with his hands. Okay, so he's a very well-known master in the Wudang Mountains over there. So this is someone who can really feel energy and do a lot of crazy things. So after, he saw what he saw, he felt what he felt, we had a deep conversation, and we concluded to the fact that we live on a planet that we have to be very real with ourselves. Like, no matter how far you are remotely away, there's a cell tower over there, and you think that energy just is stagnated? No. That energy is spread all around. So imagine if more people had scalars to nullify all that. And there's a reason in the past, I think it's 5 years, any hurricane that was like targeted towards Florida or like South Florida, it's always been like going around, because John has been implanting people with scalars, and it doesn't even matter what frequency they're playing apparently. It's helping harmonize the whole South Florida. And it's such a beautiful thing to help, or another additive tool to whatever you're doing. Personally, when we got the first one, if you guys remember the UFO video, that literally the next day when we turned it on and we looked outside our window, just UFOs right there. And I went live, and I'm like, oh snap, this is real. This is real. So the other aspect of it was we figured out why the black helicopters were coming around whenever you turn on the scalars. So apparently, I don't think it's that they may know that you turn on the scalars, but I personally think that it's maybe UFO readings that they have or stuff like that of that nature that they pick up whenever you turn on a scalar, and that's what's probably attracting all that energy in that sense, and UFOs and stuff like that. And then that's when the black helicopters will start coming around. I think that's the main reason why. I mean, at this point, we can come down, knock on my door. Like, who knows? How does one manifest a UFO? Just vibrate at a certain rate. I personally didn't really believe, or not even believe, at least trust that UFOs and stuff like that is not real. But when seeing it with your own eyes live, I'm like, okay, no, I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And yeah, and there's people within different cultures and stuff like that that know how to do that in that sense. Definitely pick up on portal frequencies. They circle my house when I open up portals with frequencies and through meditation. Yeah, brother, that happens. It definitely does happen. Even before I got the scalars, I would see certain things. And for those who are in tune, you are not hallucinating. You are seeing what you are seeing. People can call you crazy all you want, but if you honestly see with your own two eyes and you honestly feel with your own heart, that speaks for itself. I knew it was real when they came to the beach once. Awaken, brother, you're more than welcome to hop on here if you'd like. Do you think they speak to... all right, before we're getting a little off topic, I really want to stick with the scalar, but to answer your question, so Lucas asks, do you think we will speak to an extraterrestrial in our time? Brother, you can go look up the Dogon people that have been communicating, not by... and there was people way before the Dogon people, so people think that Dogon people are the oldest tribes and stuff like that to communicate with ETs and stuff like that. They're the oldest that we know, or the mainstream, quote unquote, knows. But if you go there yourself, they'll tell you straight up, there's so much more that is not known at all. You can point channeling, quote unquote, as another means of communication. Daryl Anker is, honestly, I don't care what anyone says personally. During my quote unquote conspiracy days, if you want to call it that, that was the first time I've ever seen someone verbatim literally says, all right, 9/11 is gonna this, that, and boom, it actually happened. And I don't know if that video is still circulating around, but he's one of the few people on hand that predicted it verbatim what would happen. And there's another person, Dr. Cottrell, who's actually used his gifts to put rapists behind bars, find missing people, like that type of energy. Like I like that. Like that's for me personally, that's like confirmation in that sense. Like, okay, you're legit in that sense. Much love, for sure. Yeah, so it's funny because it's funny you brought that up, and let's dive back into Scalar. So I actually got the opportunity to talk to Bashar about Scalar. I think I should actually put that in the library when you purchase a Scalar. Why certain frequencies sweep back and forth is so important. Super powerful and helpful, for sure. You definitely will feel the difference. Another thing that comes with the scalar, it's the whole library, like I said, but there will be another app that you literally can plug in specific frequencies outside the database, and there will be another data list that is on the screen as well, and you can click it. It'll tell you what angelic frequencies are, DNA, RNA type of thing, specifically out. And this is outside of the database that I just showed that can target specific things, including even that, so to speak. And the beauty about it is you don't physically need to be in front of the scalar. It goes from in, how many miles? Is it 80? How many miles? What's the radius? Do you remember? Shanti actually measured hers. Forgot what it was, but it's a pretty. Let's put it like this: your neighbors, even if you live in an apartment building, your neighbors next door to the next building will start feeling it. That's how far it goes out. Just to give you an idea of how far the radius goes, it goes pretty far, and it's super powerful because you can have it on and 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 on, running millions of frequencies on and on and on and on and on. But beyond that, it's beyond the actual frequencies. It's just that the scalar, when you're opening the scalar environment, that's what it is. It allows certain frequencies to have, you can say, a more not even dense, but a more magnetic body. That's what it is. It's a more magnetic body. So the scalars don't produce scalar energy. They just open the field up because it already exists. It doesn't create anything. It just opens the radius up even more in that sense. You've seen the law. I have. Wait, are you speaking on your own personal frequencies from a personal app? No, that's not what I'm speaking of. Have what on the breathers or tensoring and scalar? I'm not sure what you mean by your question. So, to bring everything full circle, we also use fiber optic cable as well within the scalar stickers. So something to note with the scalar stickers is also holographic, and I need to do a whole nother live about holographic and to point you to how powerful holographic is, just that shade. And the technology that we're going into utilizing holographic, we can get to the point where if someone has a cancer, right, instead of using chemo, quote unquote, which is a dinosaur, why? So let's say the cancer is here, right? So instead of using chemo, what they can use holographic technology for is pinpointing that same exact organ and just direct certain healing frequencies into it, or certain chemo. I don't know why we're still touching chemo, but certain chemo, and it won't infect the outside radius, because that's the main problem with chemo. Salud. That's the main problem with chemo, that you're still generating radiation towards the outer organs, and people still think that's healthy. And it's wild because even talking with the person who's been privy to this information even before I was born, you know, we even talked about even the days, even pre-Tesla, how we had electric therapy, where we would run certain electric energy towards a body because we are electric beings, first of all, right? So that would be the main medicine. And people were getting too healthy, and Big Pharma came in and say that, no, let's just start using medicines. Like, let's just start using medicines because we can actually profit off of it. And that's what happened. That's what happened. for you to be positively affected by the scalar when you move around on a daily away from your home, well, you have to put your own DNA on the scalar. You don't even have to put your own DNA. You can only take a picture of yourself and put it on the scalar. But shoot, most of us do cut our own fingernails and stuff like that, put it on the scalar. Some of us do use urine. That's even more powerful too. Jen does that. Put your cup of urine, because that's blood plasma, and put it on the scalar as well. You'll feel it. Jen, do you want to share your experiences with the scalar already? You want to share real quick?
You want me to go there?
Yeah, come over. Holistic Tartarian frequency tech. Yeah. Do you want to share your experience so far?
So, remember when we were in DR?
Oh yeah, we brought the scalar with us.
So we brought the scalar with us, and then I had a cup of my pee on it overnight. And then I woke up the following morning, I didn't have anything. And then I break my fast with that pee, and then all of the sudden, like, my belly was like rumbling, and I was like, what is this? What's going on? And then I went to the bathroom, and everything just flashed out, and it was all black.
Oh snap.
Yeah, it was like dark.
What was I running? Do you remember what I was running?
I don't remember, but you were running different frequencies.
Yeah, because the place we were in DR was in a remote place, so technically that was the first time. I honestly feel like Tommy was maybe feeling detox symptoms from the scalar. Oh snap. Okay.
And
That
then
actually
the
explains it. I just thought
environment
about
we were
that.
in, like, think about it.
Yeah, I just thought about that. It's like,
Yeah. And yeah, that was powerful. And then over here too, whenever I put my pee on the scalar, it just tastes something. Like more, my pee, like, it gets more, there's like saltiness a little bit. And there are times too, like, I think it differs by like the frequency that he's running.
oh, Plasma Goddess said you must have released on mucoid plaque. Yep,
Oh wow.
I just thought about that. Yep.
Yeah, it was like dark, like black color. And I was really like thinking what's going on. I didn't have anything like the day before that. And yeah, like over here when I put my pee on the scalar, like I think like whenever you put different frequencies, it changes the taste of my pee as well.
And it's something, when I see people do frequencies into water and stuff like that, most of the time it would think about at least an hour you need to be pumping into the water or whatever. Scalar, just 5 minutes on the scalar and you will feel, quote unquote feel, beyond taste, you will feel a difference. I think the rose quartz is singing. You will feel a difference on it. What set of frequencies did I run? I think one of them was releasing negative thoughts for sure. I remember running that. And 7 chakras. I was running a whole bunch of programs because we only brought one of the scale. And the beautiful thing about the new scalars is you're pumping the breathwork subliminals, that's on loop as well, along with the millions of other frequencies. But the breath in itself, that being its own frequency, that's so unique and keeps a harmonious resonance. Because like I was talking about the MK Ultra studies and what happened over there, you can't, that's what he was also warning me, and we confirmed that I was definitely on the right track, because this is a person who's been privy to this information way before I was even born, way before that. So it was just an honor to, I'm also going to be putting out projects with this person, so this is going to be really cool. But it was just an honor to just have confirmation, to just hear from the horse's mouth of someone who has been in some powerful key players that made it possible for us to talk about urine therapy, for us to talk about, holistic healing in these type of spaces without fear anymore. He was around the forefathers, you could say, Yeah, he was around the forefathers that made all this possible and let us live, of where we're heading and where we're going and where we're guiding ourselves to. Yeah, she said if it's black. And so I want to go into how how practitioners are using this in their own spaces. And even if you have a restaurant, if you have a restaurant and you're having the scalar in your restaurant, trust me. Trust me, I have one restaurant owner that has it, so that's why I brought it up. And like, you can put it in your office space. If you're a CEO or someone like that, you will notice huge shifts without doing much, right? And it's been a long time since I've worked with an office space, and now that I have scalars, like, that's one of the main things beyond, including the breathwork, of course, but the scalars is such a powerful thing to just put in there. Because listen, waves, everything, going back to our thoughts, right? You ever had a thought of a person and that person just calls you right there? I'm sure many of us has been through that synchronistic wave pattern or impulse. That same ideology spreads. Like, you could be, that's why the saying goes, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. It's not just, because everything starts from a thought, and it also starts from the breath pattern as well that influences the thought. So those are waves, goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But when you put yourself in a scalar environment, it helps amplify. Like, I have so many plants in here, like, our plants barely need watering at this point, especially when we started using the scalar. It just amplifies a more harmonious resonance to what the earth is already providing. That's what's happening. So when you turn on the scalar versus thousands of millions of people that may be thinking the complete opposite realm of your trajectory in that sense is going, the scalar nullifies that, you could say, in that sense. I remember our friend Jack was here, and he was like, man, and he was I think he did smoke before this too, so he could really like feel everything too, in a sense. And he was like, man, Devon, I feel like I should pay you because I feel like I had a session just laying there, and he could feel everything in the room. So even in medicine spaces, if you're someone that even does Aya, for instance, and having that in your space, super powerful. I can only imagine adding this technology to any healing spaces, down to the sound healing. That's what we bring. That's why we bring it into the sound healing space. Because why not? Our ancient ancestors did the same exact thing. There's a reason why ancient structures and monuments are built in a sacred geometric way. Down to the churches. You think, well, as we know as churches, but those organs, what do you think those organs were really used for? Those big pipes in those really big churches. They weren't used to worship, so to speak. They were used for sound healing, because all of them had different rates and frequencies. So they would play certain organs at the body. And in these beautiful spaces, especially Greece has a lot of low-key hidden gems over there too that's not talked about at all. I barely see it in conscious pages and stuff like that. But Greece, there are certain spaces in Greece where you see down to the corners were like literally pyramids. And you think that's a coincidence. People don't know how powerful corners are. And you can even utilize corners to help mental health as well. That's what we do in with eye breathing and the corners, because you see corners everywhere you go. So it's a powerful foundational thing to have in the mental aspect and space, especially with people who don't do well in social settings, and that's a whole nother topic. But with the corners, what they would do, they would literally play at certain specific spots in those spaces and send the frequency raising up into the wall. And there's a reason why some places have higher arches, Some places are built with limestone specifically as well. Why do you think the pyramids were built with limestone? So many different aspects of it. So let's tap into how to get your own scalar. So if you are truly interested in getting your own scalar, all you have to do is, yeah, yes, it's pretty evident. All you have to do is send me an email saying scalar delivery, and tell me that you're interested in the scalar, and I'll give you the details and instructions of how to get your own scalar. Organics, Nick brother, what's poppin'? Nick was also at the scalar sound bath we did. Yes, the Godfathers. We can talk about Nick Edwards, Flanagan, Fred Bell. He knew all those people, and I can go. You can put me on show me a list of all these people. He knows everyone. So I feel like I attracted him into my life as well, and it just came out of nowhere because I did not expect to have that 2-hour conversation with him before coming even on here. Did we go over, what else did we miss? Oh, the tower. One of Tesla's tower that implemented scalar in itself. I can't even put the full thing here. I might just make a post of it. Oh, how much they go for? So previously they went for $750, and remember in the scalar video I told you to get the book or whatever. You don't even need to get the book; it's already pre-programmed in there. It comes with a laptop and the database already, the generator that it comes with as well, and it also comes with the glass. Comes with this as well, and there's a reason. It doesn't reflect, it amplifies. If you're familiar with light waves, there's a reason why you want to put that on there. And you can also put any crystal you want on there. I put my rings, I even put my headbands on there sometimes as well. And it's really infused into your headband. Like, you will notice a difference, especially if you are someone that believes in crystals or wear crystals in general. You will notice a difference. For us personally, some of the obelisks we put on there as well has changed color down to the pendant that I wear. The crystals got lighter and lighter because you're infusing. And right now, if you can hear that pitch, you can even hear some of your crystals start to sing, depending on how many crystals you got or how big the crystal is, and or how diamond shaped the crystal is. Some of you can actually start to hear the crystals when they're being placed on the scalars. And just like I said, it's not even a speaker at this point. What you're actually listening to is the electric body, or you can say the etheric body of the breathwork subliminals, so to speak, and the actual frequencies, and they actually sweep. So that's the thing. You're not just playing frequencies, right? You're playing sweeping frequencies. You're literally going back forth in certain resonant waves that your body can harmonize with in that aspect. And we mainly use square waves because square waves, it's easier for the body to quote unquote digest and assimilate into the body. And how much they go for? They go for $1,100. The old one went for $750 with the tablet, but now you have a database, you have the laptop. What?
The first one was $1,100.
Oh, the first one was $1,100. I'm sorry. So what's this one?
$1,600.
Oh, $1,600. My bad. Sorry. First one was $1,100. The new ones are $1,600. That makes sense with the laptop and everything. Yeah. So I could hear it on my end. Yeah. So what you're hearing now is actually the rose quartz singing. I'm actually going to be making some music with the frequencies. Can you show us a setup? I already showed you guys a setup, or did I? Oh, maybe I didn't.
So those are the frequencies you're hearing.
Now listen
Now
closely
let's
to this
listen
part.
carefully to this part of the scalar. If you can hear the breath. Hear that? And what's wild is it's not a speaker. It's not a speaker at all. And here is Tesla's patent on the side, right there. And then in the middle, you see the pyramids going in point, just like that. So 0 point, they represent. So imagine all those frequencies running in this electrical or this structured movement.
So that is a setup, along with the generator. I didn't get to show you guys the generator on video, but the generator plugs into the laptop, and then the generator plugs into the scalar, along with the audio, and also comes with an amplifier. So the amplifier amplifies the frequency, and it's more. You can say what the amplifier does. It nullifies any white noise or outer noise. So it's like pure harmonious frequencies going straight into the scalar. So it also comes with an amplifier as well. And yeah, they can be shipped. They're worldwide shipping. And I said it's 1,600. The previous one was 1,100. Sorry about that. But these one are 1,600. And if you are interested, email themanisdevon@gmail.com and type in scalar delivery in the subject. Yeah, we ship worldwide. Essentially, the neutralize dissonance and disharmonic frequencies. Exactly. So another cool thing that you can do, this lady had a haunted house, so to speak. In general, I'm going to show you what you can do with crops. So you can literally take a picture of crops and literally put it on the biogeometric blueprint that we have and place it on the scale, and you'll notice, wow, 1 minute remaining, 2 minutes. You'll notice the soil is more richer just by placing a picture. Now, we actually did this with the farm already. The soil is richer. This is where technology should be already heading. Why did we suppress it for this long? And my ideology of why is, at a certain point, the spiritual technology was resonating so high at a certain point that, yes, back then they had technologies like this. And apparently the Lemurians, stories of the Lemurians apparently used scale. I was skeptical, but people have been sending me this. I'm like, oh, interesting. That's close to what I have a little bit. And down to the Egyptians, where they use the prongs going right into your pineal gland, going straight into the earth. What do you think they were doing? They were pumping frequencies into their bodies already. And with high spiritual technology comes physical technology at a certain point. And then when that spiritual technology maybe been corrupted, so to speak, I think that's the point when we went to technologies that were just focused on greed and stuff like that, apparently. Yeah, that's my view in that point. That's where I think it went wrong. Yeah, thank you all for sharing the breath. Share this if you feel like someone could definitely benefit from it, or split it with a friend. People actually been doing that with different communities, so that's also an option. So don't limit yourself in that sense. Thank you all for sharing the breath. Peace. I might do another one, so if anyone has more questions, we can just tap in, and then I might not save that one. And yeah, any questions or just hop on live. Peace.